Nirodhan Ariya Satcham Yotasayeva Tanha Asesa Vira. Good evening, Dharma friends. Let me wish all of you a happy and peaceful evening. It is January 6th, the first Saturday of our Sutta study class. I think this beginning for Sutta exploration will be a very important moment in our Dhamma practice. Throughout the year, we can meet for Sutta studies on Saturdays or any other days, so that studying Sutta make us complete in understanding the teaching of the Buddha. So you are warmly welcome, and those friends who join with different medias later on also uh, uh, welcome with wholesome thought. Today is the first day of this year's Sutta study, so that I want to inform you that I try my best to come to Saturdays, each Saturdays when I am here and conduct this Sutta study class for making you aware how important the Dhamma in the suttas is, and what we can bring ourselves into our practice by reading suttas. To make a difference, I just named the Sutta study class for Saturday uh, is as Ehipasiko Sutta study class. The very word Ehipasiko is coming from the qualities of the Dhamma. It means come and see. The Buddha has invited bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and lay followers and even people who are outside of this training, come and see. What did he mean by come and see? He asked us to explore the Dhamma with open mind and then realize or experience what it brings to you. That is what he did at the first discourse, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and later on he did not put any rules like we have today, but he was inviting everyone to come and see. So this Sutta study class has been in that form for several years now, and we invite everyone to come and see and understand the Dharma in the suttas with your experience. So that's why we named the Sutta study class Ehipasiko Sutta study class. Let me begin the Sutta studies by paying homage to the Supreme Buddha, who taught us the Dhamma for our benefits and everyone else, and also divine being, because he is the Satta Dev Manussanam, he is the teacher for all humans and divine beings. Let's join with me to pay the due respect to the Supreme Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa three times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends, to begin with, I selected a topic like things for today's Sutta study class, Ehipasiko. If you could see, it is Sile Patittaya Naro Sapanyo Chittang Panyancha Bhavya. This is the title for today's discussion. The meaning is an intelligent or wise person established in morality. The wise person who established in morality is going to develop his mind, which means samadhi, and also panya, the wisdom. So it is from a particular sutta called Jata Sutta from Samyutta Nikaya, Sutta Nipata. So this Jata Sutta is giving us this wonderful statement from the Buddha, Sile Patittaya Narosapanyo Chittang Panyancha Bhavyang. The one who establishes on Sila, morality, is going to develop both aspects for nirvana, such as samadhi, concentration, and panya, wisdom. So this is what we are going to discuss deeper today. How one can be morally wholesome. In other words, how we become ethically and morally peaceful, and how that state of morality help us cultivate samadhi or concentration with wisdom. So the noble eightfold path, as you all know, is on these three pillars: sila, samadhi, and panya. Morality, concentration, and wisdom. So they are called aggregate: sila kanda, samadhi kanda, and panya kanda. The order with when it comes to practical aspect could be different, because sila could not be practiced without wisdom, and when there is wisdom, sila is going to be straightforward and smooth and guided in the right direction, so that the samadhi is achieved. So there are differences in the order when it comes to theoretical and practical sense, but however, we all know the fact that the noble eightfold path is having this particular aspect, sila, and also samadhi, and also panya. So since this is from a very short sutta, people may not be able to expand it with details, but it has been having connection with all the important dhamma. So at the very beginning of the sutta discussion, Ehipasiko, I just want to tell you that Jata Sutta should be referred to in order to keep some elements of Dhamma in you. Jata Sutta, the very meaning is tangle. It is been talking about a very important aspect. So one of the deities, the deity's name is unknown there, but one of the deities came to the Buddha while he was at the Jetvanarama monastery in Savatthi and exchanged this idea. What is the idea? He said in a form of poem, Anto jata bahi jata, jataya jatitapaja, tantang gotama puchami, koimang vijate jata. I used to read Pali just because someone might be interested in listening to Pali. So the meaning is, this deity tells the Buddha that a tangle within, a tangle without, people are entangled in a tangle. Gautama, I ask you this, who can untangle this tangle? So perplexity or complexity has been in the mind and also in the society. Wherever you see, whether it is divine or human, whether it is terrestrial or celestial, you can see the problem. In us, we see problem. In outside, in the society, we can see problem. So everybody has been tangled. So this deity, just like in Mangala Sutta, auspicious Sutta, where the deity came and tell that there is a problem for both divine and human. Nobody knows what are the auspicious factors. Likewise, here this deity has been playing a role like representative of all divine and human, and asks, we have so many problems inside. If you take an individual, there are problems, and if you consider a couple of people, they are also with living with some problems. So these problems are not just about the just about the occupation, just about raining, drought. They are not about market value of commodities. They are not political problems and so on. This sounds like a problem which everybody faces when we comes to sansaric issue, the suffering issue. So, in essence, everyone is entangled in a tangle. So then the problem is explained into a certain extent in the question, and then he asked, who is going to entangle this? When the Buddha was asked question in a simple form but with a deeper connotation, he answered uh, in a short form according to the question. So the answer is Sile patittaya narosapanyo chittang panyancha bhavya atapi nipako bhikkhu so imang vijate jata. It's one of the wonderful, very famous statement of the Buddha. I think it summarizes the whole teaching of the Buddha too. Sile patitta narosapanya, the wise person who always, protect or preserve sila or practice sila, morality, is going to practice samadhi and also panya. We all know the fact that if one is able to practice three aspects, such as Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, he's on the right path for Nirvana. He's going to attain Nirvana. So this particular person could be called a renunciant, or a person who has gone beyond the attachment, the one who has gone beyond the average human existence. So he's called the one who experienced freedom. Here in this stanza, atapi nipako bhikkhu, when one practices sila, is going to actually experience some sort of relaxation in the mind, no issues uh, at all like before because of his sila, so that he is having wisdom, and therefore his effort, atapi, he is going to let go of unwholesomeness always based on his virya. Therefore he is going to be the one who one who resolved the problem, one who untangled the problem. So now there is a knot, there is a kind of complex situation. Now he is solving it by way of practicing sila, by way of practicing samadhi, by way of practicing wisdom. This is when we do this, when somebody in the past did that, what he was doing there was eliminating or pulling out raga, dosa, moha, avidya. In the next stanza of the Jata Sutta, it says, Yesang ragocha dosocha avidyacha virajita keenasava arhanto tesang vijatita jata. In meaning, um, those whose passion and aversion and ignorance have faded away are called arhants, the enlightened person. Their attachment is done. Their attachments are gone. For them, the tangle entangle. So when one take the brave steps to let go of lobha, dosa, moha, three roots of suffering out from their mind, they are called kinasava, they are called arhants, they are called enlightened person. So they are the people that they are the people who entangle the problem, entangle the tangle, and their mind is free. Where name and form, along with perception of impermanence and form, totally stop without trash. That is where the tangle is cut. In the short form, Buddha says everything here. Yatta namancha rupancha asesang uparujjate patigang rupa sanyata ettesa jijjate jata. So initially, Buddha says when passion and aversion and ignorance are taken completely from our mind, you are going to be a one who experienced the total freedom. You are an arahant. You are an enlightened person. There, you don't have the connection between nama for the mind and mental factor with attachment. So that is being completely stopped. So therefore, there is no future birth, there is no suffering at all right now, and in the next moment, in the next life, there won't be next life at all, because you have stopped the possibility of moving from this life to next life. So that is how this person entangle the tangle. So in these three stanzas, Buddha cleared the divine being that who is going to entangle the tangle. So Jata Sutta has only three uh, stanzas, and in three stanzas, Buddha was so keen to explain everything about the teaching of the Buddha. So, Sile Patittaya Narosapanyo Chittang Panyancha Bhave. So, first we have to establish on Sila, then naturally our mind inclines into peaceful state. If you look at another sutta, here I take this statement, Sile Patittaya Narosapanyo Chittang Panyancha Bhavya, just to give you some clue how the Buddha elaborate this statement into various aspects of the Dhamma, so that you have freedom to select any sutta to go on. So the one thing I said last was how important sila. In one of the suttas in Anguttara Nikaya, it's called Kimatya Sutta. It talks about the importance of sila. Let's say that we don't know anything about the Dharma. So where do you go and where do you start the Dharma practice? We cannot ask these persons to go and explore or read the Four Noble Truths or dependent co-origination in suttas, because he is the beginner. Where we can start the Dhamma practice for this person? It's Sila. Sila is a type of prevention method from doing wrong thing. First and foremost, we should be able to stop misbehaviors physically, verbally, so that we can protect our mind from misbehavior. Mind is going to misbehave at all, despite the stuff of wrongdoing verbally and physically, because nobody knows. We can think of various unwholesome things in mind, even without smiling, even without talking something good, so that our mind is always unpredictable and can work on in its own way. So that sila is to guide our mind into a certain extent with regard to maintaining restraint in our with senses, and also basically in a simple term, verbal restraint and also physical restraint. So the one who begins the training should be able to restrain himself or herself, and that is the beginning. If you look at suttas like Ganaka Moggallana and many suttas for lay people, they are talking about the importance of sila, importance of being able to restrain. That is the beginning of the training. How this happened? Again, we have to connect the sila with shraddha, sila with confidence on the Buddha, because nobody is going to follow some set of moral principles unless he or she has that faith for the Buddha. Uh, Sorry if I use loose terms like faith, because for the sake of conversation we use them, but we have particular term for them. But in order for you to understand the context, I am using them. So first and foremost, we have to have that confidence and respect for the Buddha in order for us to accept what he is saying. He says, talk nicely. Do not talk something harmful for your mind, yourself, and everybody else. Try to speak the words that makes you and everybody happy, and do not use your body, which means the kaya, to harm anyone else. uh, do only good things for physically. So this is how he is telling us to be morally restrained. It's the beginning of moral restraint. So once you have been doing that, you would be able to really focus your mind. Unless you take care of your physical and verbal behavior, you are not going to do anything with the mental behavior, because mentality or the mind is something deep, something invisible, and you are not in a positions to peep into it to see what it is. So basically, take care of what you can do. So if you look at the canonical statement of the Buddha about how Sila is being explained, I would go to Mahachattarika Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. The Buddha, bound each and every important elements to uh, samadhi, and also other important aspect of the teaching, including morality, sila. So the point I want to say here is, sila could not be practiced without the presence of right view, samadhi. Let's say that the deer never kills um, any other animals for survival. What the deer does is eating grass or anything the deer can eat, and maintain its life based on various movements. We don't see the deer kills animals. We can pinpoint other animals. We can pinpoint even human who um, do not do such things. But does that mean these animal I mentioned, all the people who never kill an animal, practice the morality as the Buddha explained? Maybe not. Particularly when with regard to animals, not, because they don't have right view in their mind. Why do I become away from killing living beings? This question should be asked. This question should be asked by those people if they practice sila based on samadhi. Why do I stop killing and harming living beings? Because it brings me suffering. It brings me suffering right now, and it brings me suffering later on in this life and after this life. I might go in sansar experiencing utter pain and suffering because of this demerits. It's not a meritorious deed. It doesn't give you any good results. It gives you demerit. It gives you bad consequences. So I become away from doing this killing and harming living beings. So see how samadhi or right view plays a big role there. So you see the danger of doing killing living beings so that you overcome it. You be away from that. So that's how samadhi is playing, practicing even the first principle of the five. When you go to each sila, you look at the intention of why I practice sila, why I restrain myself, what happened if I commit this, why I should be away from this. So in each and every aspect of sila, samadhi is playing a big role in order to make the sila perfect. So that is what the Buddha said in Mahachattari Sutta in a deeper sense. Actually, that sutta is for the purpose of explaining the noble concentration, but it also says this kind of important elements that sila is always guided by the right view samadhi. So in this Kimattiya Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya section number 11, the Buddha had a conversation with Venerable Ananda, and there we find this statement, Kimatyani Bante Kusala Silani Kimani Sansani. Venerable Sir, what is the very purpose and also the results of skillful moral principles? The Buddha's answer is Avippatisāropana Bante Kimatyo. Sorry, Avippatisarattani Ananda Kusala Silani Avippatisarani Sansani. When Ananda, the purpose and the results of Sila is non-confusion. Avippatisarattani Avippatisarani Sansani. So when one practices sila, whatever set of principle you practice, you would get non-confusion. Your mind should be away from busy nature. Your mind should be away from confusion. Your mind should be away from frustration. Your mind should be away from type of perplexities, type of uncertainty. How do we get all these very important peaceful status of mind by practicing sila? So you see that sila can make that. So then the sila would be widespread into our physical and verbal and mental behavior. Otherwise, we are not going to have that avippadisara, non-confusion. So that is from Kimattiya Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya section number 11, and Buddha goes, or Venerable Ananda goes on asking some more questions. What is the then purpose of avippadisara? So the very purpose of avippadisara, which means why do we have non-confusion? Now, when there is non-confusion, non-complexity, uncomplexity, and no confusion, no frustration, there you have the pamojja. It's, your mind is in gladness. Your mind is joyful. And where the purpose of joyfulness, when there is joyfulness in mind, you can step into the next step of the training, that is piti, rapture arises in mind. Then with rapture you have sukha, happiness. Asad is also there, tranquility is there. So when these important elements of um, samadhi is there, you are having samadhi, perfect samadhi, and we all know that vimukti, or the magga for vimukti, is being cleared when samadhi is achieved. When there is no frustration, no darkness, no confusion in mind at all, and when you live with that for a certain period of time, your mind is in the peak of where you can see the truth of your mind and body. So that is from Kimattiya Sutta. So now you see why we need to establish on sila. I go to another important sutta uh, which tells you some important things. This is from Itiuttaka, number 104. The name of the sutta is Sila Sampanna Sutta. This is not only about Sila, this is also about other qualities, but start with Sila. when you have sila as an asset, because these are some treasures for us. When you practice sila, when you have sila in your training, you are going to be catching up other important elements also. So this sutta was uttered by the Buddha, especially with regard to what arhants consist of. So it talks about the 5 dhamma aggregates and the 3 training for freedom. The Buddha said, bhikkhus who are accomplished in moral virtue, called sila sampanna, accomplished in concentration, samadhi sampanna, accomplished in wisdom, panya sampanna, accomplished in freedom, vimutti sampanna, accomplished in the knowledge and vision of freedom, vimutti jnana dassana sampanna. They are called advisors. They are called counselors. They could the best title for them is instructors, inspirers, rousers of energy of others, and those people could be called people who make others gladden. I don't want to say the Pali terms for these things because they are too long. However, simply it could be said like this: those who have sila, samadhi, panya, vimukti, and vimutti jnana dassana are the real instructors. They should be the real instructors. At least we should have some sense of these 5 things in our mind in order for us to give something to others. As I said, this is about talking about arahants by the Buddha. So those who have completed the sila section, samadhi section, panya section, they experience in type of vimukti, and also they have the knowledge about vimukti. So when you have these 5 things, you are real, genuine advisors, counselors, instructors, inspirers, and also you are suitable to make others' energy uplift or forward, and you can make people gladden. So that is what the Buddha said at the very beginning. Then bhikkhus, he continues, because even seeing these monks is a great help for you, because that even seeing these monks, when the Buddha says monks, he is not talking only about monks. It is a kind of a word to denote that he include bhikkhunis, and even lay men and women who have gone through the Noble Eightfold Path could be included into this. So even seeing these great people, who are the great people? Who have sila, samadhi, panya, vimutti, and vimutti jnanadasa. Those who have sila, morality, concentration, samadhi, panya, wisdom, vimukti, freedom, vimutti jnanadasana magga, knowledge about their freedom. So even seeing these people is a great for us. Dasana. And even listening to these great disciple is of great help. Savana. And because even approaching these great people is of great help for you. And even closely attending to those monks is a great help for you. And recollecting about these monks also bring you great joy, and it's a great help for you. And going forth, following their footprint is definitely a great help for you. So, having at least seen them, you're having seen them, you're not going. You are going to talk to them. You are going to listen to them, because if you see somebody who has been done something in the training, you are eager to listen to him or her. So when you listen to uh, him or her, what you are doing there is associating him. No, you never stop going again there and seeing him or her. So you try at least your best to connect with him or in a distance way as well. So you are associating now him or her. Then approaching, attending, recollecting, and even thinking about them makes some sort of great help. As a result of these things, the Buddha said, you are going to fulfill the moral aggregate with such kind of practices. Let me tell you this again. So before you met this particular disciple, the great one, the one who has gone through the teaching, your sila was incomplete. Your sila has some holes. Your sila is being practiced here and there. You have no confidence about your moral principle. But when you seen these great people, when you approach them, when you listen to them, when you approach them over and over, and when you recollect them, your sila aggregate is going to be upright and also perfect, and it's going to slowly be completed. So even though one who is unfulfilled in moral aggregates, one gain fulfillment in his cultivation. So that is why the Buddha said to the divine being in Mangala Sutta, Panditanancha Sevana, association of Kalyana Mitta has been one of the important factors for the first stage of enlightenment. When you have a very good person in your close association, it means you always share your insight, your whatever you think, whatever you do, so that he's going to support you to make your life correct according to the Dhamma, so that the possibilities of going away from the Dhamma is less, because you have a additional support for you to stay in the Dhamma. So that is what the Buddha said in Mangala Sutta, Panditanancha Sevana. When you associate wise people, you are going to be wise too. So that is a great blessing. And here, the Buddha emphasized the fact that unfulfilled moral principles is going to be completed, developed, fully cultivated by way of associating, by way of listening, by way of associating, by way of approaching, by way of thinking about those great people. And unfulfilled in concentration is going to be fulfilled when you do it over and over. And unfulfilled wisdom is going to be completed too, because you are associating those great people who have completed Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, Vimutti, and Vimutti Jnanadasana. Likewise, Buddha says, if you recognize those people without wasting time, associate them, and what you get from them is nothing but the path to perfect Sila, Samadhi, Panya, Vimukti, Vimukti Jnana Dassana. Therefore, you are going to get them for your completion of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, Vimukti, and Vimukti Jnana Dassana. Because, he continues, therefore, because of this reason, these the disciples, who great disciples, are called teachers and caravan leaders. It doesn't mean that they have those particular caravan leaders. That is one of the title used in that period to tell that the leaders of spirituality are like caravan leaders. Caravan leaders in the desert, uh, leading a lot of people to go through the desert without any problem, without any harm. So the spiritually advanced people also tells average people to practice moral principles and other Dhamma elements to go smoothly on their life without making the samsara again. So that those great disciples, any arahants, is called caravan leader. Spiritual is the leaders who train others for spiritual aspect. Then they could be called also Prananjaho. It means they can be, they can tell us the causes of problem well before the problem arises, or they can tell us the particular problems we experiences well before we experience, because they foresee. That's why Rananjaho, particular epithet is being used for arahants or great disciples. They can tell us that you are going to experience this problem if you behave like this, so that get away from this. So the arahants who have experienced the Dhamma has also had experienced those problems before, so that they have full experience. So they are called teachers, caravan leaders now, for people who see the future of us, especially when we get dangers. And they are called darkness dispellers. The Pali word tamo nudo. So these people could be called darkness dispellers. So they know the human mind, they know the nature of everything around us, so that they can tell us this is what you need to do. Likewise, in this sutta, what is the sutta? Sila Sampanna Sutta in Iti Uttaka tells us that being able to be a Sila Sampanno, you are going to get other things just like Arhan, so that follow the footprint of noble people in order for you to be a noble person. So, Sile Patittaya Narosapanyo. So, uh, being wise, you become a morally wholesome person. They are you naturally inclined into experience that peaceful state of mind, so that you are going to be developing or completing panya into a greater extent. So there are a lot to say under this title, Sile Patitta Naro Sapanyo Chittang Panyancha Bhavayang. But uh, I would give you some time for you to share your understanding also, uh, so that we can have a interactive discussion. So, what do you think about Sila? What do you think about the connection of Sila to Samadhi and Panya, and how we are going to morally wholesome? Because that is a very difficult thing in this society. Sometimes some people complain, type say us something like complain that Bante, it's so difficult for us to practice Sila. Uh, how do we practice Sila? The simple answer is be wise, be mindful. So that is how we connect Samaditya and Samasati together to make the connection with Sila. Sila is not being able to be practiced if we are not intelligent enough about it. Why do we practice Sila? So, see, if you look at the same problem in a different angle, uh, where we break the Sila, what we have then? Or when we break the Sila, how we break the Sila? When we break the Sila, or what we do in normal society, we tell lies, we gossip, and then we just want to enjoy our senses. We think that we are so and so, and we do this and that. So, isn't it we tend to forget what is the whole truth of our life? When we break the Sila, we tend to forget who we are and what we are. For example, if we let's say that we tell lies. For example, we tell lies about certain things. Then we what do we want by telling a lie? we want to tell others that I don't do this. That is because of view, strong attachment to self, that I should protect myself even by telling a lie. I feel embarrassed in front of others if I don't tell a lie. So at the end, what you are trying to protect is yourself. So there you accept the fact that there is a self, there is a person living in this body which is permanent, which is experiencing embarrassment from others, and so on. So, see, if when we are failing of protecting sila, we are cultivating attachment, we are cultivating anger, we are giving all kind of sources for unwholesomeness of our mind. That's why this practicing sila is important. It could be difficult, but if we understand what would happen to us when we break sila, there you have the strong energy to preserve sila. So even though we know that we know many things about sila, being practical about sila would be difficult. So that it is better for us to have a genuine, proper effort in practicing sila. You can get your chance of talking while I'm doing so. So one of the statement of the Buddha about sila, in Kusala Bojjanga Sutta, I'm taking the Sutta, he said there that Bodhyanga, the factors of enlightenment or factors for enlightenment, could only be practiced when one is morally wholesome. We all know the 7 factors of enlightenment: Sati, Dhammavichaya, Virya, Piti, Passaddi, Samadhi, Upekka. Mindfulness or Sati, investigation into Dhamma. Second one. Third one, perseverance or energy, right effort, in other words, is playing as a enlightened factor. And then Piti, rapture; Passaddi, tranquility; Samadhi, concentration; and Upekka, the balance or equilibrium or equanimity, whatever word you like to use. So these 7 could be practiced when only one understands sila and follow the sila. In Kusala Bojjanga Sutta, in Samyutta Nikaya, Buddha says this. So this shows us how important the sila is, and when only we respect sila, there we have the that energy to go forward. So that's what I want to tell you from that particular sutta. Sile patitta naro sapanyo chittang panyancha bhavyang. Just memorize this statement, either in Pali or in any language you like. Sile patitta naro sapanyo chittang panyancha bhavyang. Because even the great commentator Buddhaghosa took this very small sutta, Jata Sutta, to write the whole collection of Visuddhimagga. It's a collection. It has various chapters. He got this particular sutta to start it. So it's a kind of elaboration of Sile Patittai Naro Sapanyo Chittang Panyanch Bhai. So therefore, better you to remember it in Pali, if not at least in English or in any other language you like. An wise or intelligent person who establishes in morality is able to cultivate samadhi, which means his mind, and then panya, another quality of our mind when it comes to spirituality, panya, so that this person is the one who solve the samsaric issue. So we are in a position to do that. I think everyone is striving for this, either by giving dana, either by observing sila, either by listening to Dhamma, either by associating nice people, or helping anyone, we always put this aspiration in mind. May I be able to attain nirvana? So just this wish doesn't make any sense if we do not practice sila, if we do not establish on sila and practice samadhi and panya, we are not in a position to do so. Anyhow, we all try to do that. Maybe we are in a different places of the path, but we all try. So trying could be very successive and progressive if we really understand the connection between sila and samadhi, between sila and panya, and how samadhi could help sila to be like that, and how we reach to slowly samadhi. I think the most fabulous and marvelous experience I get out of this is samadhi, because before you attain to full enlightenment, you are having that a taste of enlightenment with someone. So practicing moral principle always bring you that. In other words, hindrances, uh, nivarana, or barriers of peaceful state of mind, they could be easily uh, overcome by sila practice. If we are able to be away from any physical, mental, verbal misbehavior, it means you have done your duties to let go of kamachanda, vyapada, tinamidda, uddhacha, kukkucha, vichikicha, the five hindrances into a certain extent. I'm not saying fully, but you have done the homework to make these five hindrances away from you with sila practice. Because in many suttas like Sangarva, and where the Buddha teaches Dhamma to lay people, he talks about this aspect. Being away from harming, killing living beings, you practice metta. Therefore, your physical aspect in sila is going to be perfect. Being away from stealing, you practice generosity. Being away from misbehavior in every means, you practice celibacy. Being away from telling lies, gossip, and so forth, you speak the truth, you speak the words that are praiseworthy, and then your words have made people to be friendly, and so forth. And being away from taking anything harmful to your mindfulness, clear vision, you practice the mindfulness. So you see that how the Buddha elaborate the five principles. Of course, the sila was there in the Indian society as others practice. You see this from the story of the Buddha also. The mother of the Buddha, Maya Devi, practiced five principles, and many of those uh, mendicants before the Buddha practiced sila. There were a lot of people outside of the Buddha's teaching who practice sila, perfect sila. But the Buddha recommended the sila always guided by samadhi. So, in order for someone to get the knowledge of Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path and practice the Dharma, which means the 37 factors of enlightenment, you should take the sila with the support of samadhi. So, that's what I wanted to share with this topic, Sile Patittaya Naro Sapanyo Chittang Panyancha Bhavyang. Now I would like to hear from you and what you think and what kind of dharma you can share with others. So be generous. Okay, that is also one of the seal of you. Perhaps I missed certain things. It could happen to me as well. So you can fill up these gaps. So it's up to you. I think Dr. Bial is going to say something.
Yeah, I guess now the basic sila is for us as lay people, five precepts, right, to for us to follow. Now, when you talk about the importance of samadhi as sila, now we know karma effects of karma that's called karma phala viswasya, like kammasagata
Yeah.
samadhi. So it is something important for us to remember. The samadhi comes in early. As where does it sama sankappa fits in? Sama sankappa is also sila, in a way, a form of mental sila. For example, uh, the three um, nekkhamma, avyapada, avihimsa, sankalpana, meaning your thoughts.
Yeah.
You have not wanted to kill person, not wanted to harm a person, or not wanted to indulge in sensual pleasures. Now, this is again a mental sila. So I think the Buddha, when you talk about mental, when you sila, Buddha put, of course, then comes the verbal as well as bodily sila. So sila we put
Yeah.
on top, but at the top two, I believe comes because the mind perceives everything, the speech
Yeah.
and action. So mind sila, the control of mind is important, samadhi and samma sankappa, right? So I
Wonderful.
believe
Yes, I.
the sila samadhi.
Yeah.
Hmm? So Sila Samadhi Prajna, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I may be wrong. I think it should be the tenfold factors. So the Sila
Yeah.
top two are the mental Sila, then the verbal, then the physical, and then Samadhi, of course, some Samma Virya, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, and then Samma Jnana, Samma Vimukti is the Prajna part. So Sila
Yeah.
Samadhi Prajna nicely fits in if you look at the tenfold path, because the path is the one you practice. The result, the fruits are the sammanyana samavimukti. So, so sila samadhi prajna nicely fits in, starting from mental, verbal, and physical. What do you think of that idea?
That is perfectly right. Um, if you
I
take the
have
10
a I
factors.
have my Kalyanamit right next to me today.
Yeah, I was going to tell that how you could, sit with her today. She must be at your place, right?
Yes.
Or
No,
you must.
actually, I'm at her place.
Okay, okay, all right. So, yes, you're close to both of you are close to a Kalyan. Okay, that's not really nice. Yeah, what you said is absolutely right. Um, this is not that clear to many people. These 10 factors, because everybody takes the Noble Eightfold Path, which means 8 factors into consideration. And when it comes to a full enlightened person or the map of the full enlightened person, there are two more, because uh, in essence you have some sort of knowledge and experience to see how important the sila is. There you begin the training, and then when you go on the training, you see how great this path factors, and at a certain point, let's say attainment to sotapanna, you are completing some sort of samma jnana and samma vimukti. They are not completely, but let's say if 25% of samma jnana and samma vimukti all are completed when you attain to the first stage of enlightenment. So it's been it should be taken by our experience. It should when we come to the analysis, we should be able to realize that Sotapanna, the one who attained to extreme enter position, has come up to that level of experience. So I totally agree. And Dasahangehi Samannagato Arahati Uchiti. The Buddha clearly said to Venerable Sopaka, actually it is Venerable Sopaka, the young monk said that when one completes the 10 factors, he's going to be a fully enlightened person. So, however, this is being taught. This is being taught to average people, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Because the
even
Sila,
even the Buddha was telling this to 5 ascetic. Uh, they were not near even to Sotapanna stage. So that he says, he put forward that these are the 8 things you need to practice. So begin this practice from this and that, and then at a certain distance, at a certain distance, the person who practice himself know that this is going to happen. So in my analysis, I would say that the way to teach people about the noble eightfold path start from the when we
Yeah,
categorize the eightfold path into three
yeah,
aspects. We say sila, samadhi, and panya. But when we come to practical aspect,
yeah,
it should be panya, and then sila, and then samadhi. So that
yeah.
is the
Even Tool,
procedure of Mahachattariska Sutta.
yeah,
And also, as you said, when we take the 10 factors
yeah.
of Kusala, uh, we can see that as well.
Stula Vedala Sutra talks about the three aggregates, that is Sila Samadhi Prajna. The Eightfold Path is included in the three aggregates, Sila Samadhi Prajna, but the three aggregates are not included in the Eightfold Path, something like opposite. So, in
Yeah,
other words, saying the three aggregates has a bigger picture
yeah,
than Sila Samadhi Prajna has a bigger picture than the Eightfold Path. So that's what I argue, that it's a tenfold. Sila Samadhi Prajna should be the tenfold path should be correctly, because otherwise always a confusion. Why we have prajna already? Why do you need to go to prajna in the at the at the end? Because we
yeah,
can't start with prajna. I mean, sila is the main part. Sila has to be there. Sila, then
yeah,
samadhi, and prajna. This is a gradual path. Everything is gradual in Buddha's teaching. You can't start from prajna right away and then develop prajna again.
yeah,
Everything is
yeah.
a gradual training. I mean, it's from top to bottom, everything is gradual discipline, gradual training. That's why my opinion. Anyway, that's my
No, no,
small.
what you said is agreeable in many ways, definitely. Eh, in other words, if you look at the instruction of the Buddha for us, what he mainly says, just practice sila, just practice samadhi. Don't do this because of this reason. Don't do that because of that reason. So he is giving us some sort of instruction for us to practice certain physical and verbal and mental activities.
Yeah,
It is very difficult even for the Buddha to tell about the real nature of panya, because
yeah.
panya
It's something
is
you
a
experience.
word given to a kind of experience.
Yes, that's right. I agree. Yeah,
So, and even samadhi, though we use this word samadhi,
yeah,
concentration,
yeah.
it is a kind of results of some sort of practices for a long time,
Yeah.
right?
And also, you can only give it metaphorically. There are metaphors Buddha has given for different
Yeah,
stages of samadhi, but
that's
really, it's
right.
an experience. But it's like the bath person, mixing the bath powder, like different, like
Yeah,
beautiful metaphors, but really cannot tell someone or
that's
experience
true.
experience.
As you rightly said, look at the word panya. So, in order to explain the nature of panya, Buddha takes the darkness. So,
Mm,
darkness is called avidya, ignorance.
mhm,
And now we see what ignorance, because ignorance is itself unable to explain by words.
mm, mm.
Ignorance is explained as not knowing the truth, not knowing the cause of truth,
Yes,
and not knowing the suffering as it is, not knowing the causes of
yes,
suffering as it is, not knowing the path, and so on. But it's abstract and way beyond our experience. So, how about when we say ignorance is like darkness at night?
mm,
So then
yes,
we understand more. Yeah,
yes,
it is been cleared for us.
mm,
So in darkness, we cannot see any object in the room. But how
mm,
about if we switch on the light? So we see everything clearly.
mm,
So Panya is like the light,
yes.
Aloko Udapadi.
Mm.
So
You're
Chakung
having a
Udapadi, Jnanang Udapadi, Panya Udapadi, Vidya Udapadi, Aloko Udapadi. So now with the light, we can see everything in details. We
yes,
can categorize everything in details. So Panya is something like that. It's a kind of clarity of mind. It's a kind of clear vision, no worries, no frustration. So again, Panya is something something.
Is a result, is not a practice. Panya is something,
Yeah,
a result of the practice, right?
yeah,
It's you can say you cannot practice prajna, sila samadhi prajna. Prajna is as a fruits of the path, right?
yeah,
Prajna is
yeah.
it's a, as
This is why Buddha said, practice samadhi. Samadhi and yoniso manasikara. Actually, these are the seed of panya. Uh,
mhm,
Yoniso manasikara means do think wisely, do things wisely, and say wisely, so that what you are gaining, what you are developing is the quality of panya. So samadhi. So when you practice yoniso manasikara, samadhi, right view is going to be there. So they are kind of application, they are kind of practices, but panya is being a kind of essence,
mhm.
out a kind of results of these ways of practice. If you look at samadhi, so to there is samadhi in the noble eightfold path, but it comes to us when only we practice all the seven factors of the uh, noble eightfold paths, as the samadhi is the eighth one,
Yeah,
and it is been in us when only we apply all these seven factors.
Mahati
So
is
see,
different.
see these terms, samadhi and panya, are not being experienced by anybody unless those particular practices are done. So that
But sati is something you had application. Sati,
yeah, it
samasati,
is
and
application.
lead to samadhi. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
So there are set of applications there, and when
Mm.
we apply them, we can
Mm.
have those big terms in our experience, like panya and samadhi.
You have any to add? Mahati? Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. That's it. Sadhu, I think I'll let others, any others answer any
Yeah.
question.
So yeah, thank you so much for arousing our curiosity on the topic, particularly on uh, Sila Samadhi and Panya, and bringing the idea of 10 factors is also nice, because these things urge you to look more. I encourage everyone to uh, come with pieces of knowledges like that. Uh, at least you better find out them from different sources. Like you can internet is a main source of dhamma. It could be your library now, it will be a dhamma bhandagara now, because you can find anything. I know you are busy, I know you have a lot of activities to be done. However, in order for us to get out of this busy sansara, we should be smart enough at least to read something like this. Okay, so try your best to find out necessary knowledge for you to experience Dhamma more and more in the new year 2024, either with this class or any other class. So and hurry up to gain enlightenment. If one of us confirm certain stages of enlightenment in this very life, that is the thing we, of course, looking forward. Because in this Sila Sampanna Sutta, Buddha clearly says, uh, the one who has accomplished Sila Samadhi and Panya and Vimutti Jnana Darsana, we should go to them even in a distant places, seeing them, approaching them, associating them, listening to them, and living with them should be done, because we are going to be like them. Look at the Buddha's time. When people know about the perfect example is Pukkusati. He's he was the king of Takkasila. Uh, it's a different state up north India. I think now today is in Pakistan. So he came to know about the Buddha from the king Kosala, King Bimbisara, in Magadha, by a uh, copper plates. You know, today you can see some. In those days, people send messages through various type of plates like that, because they are taking them by hand through horses, elephant. So anything could happen on the way. So that is the way they delivered the messages. So King Bimbisara became friend with King Pukkusati. They are unseen friends, and for the first time, King Pukkusati came to know about the Buddha through those writing of King Bimbisara. So as soon as he saw the word Buddha, he was delighted. He was in a state like no worries at all immediately. Uh, this is what happened. King Pukkusati sent some gift items through traders to King Bimbisara, made by golds, made by different things. And then King Bimbisara didn't was thinking of what should I send back to King Pukkusati. Then he thought that he was a very devoted Buddhist. And he thought that the best thing I could send to my friend, my unseen friend, King Pukusadi, is the message of the appearance of the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. See, so he wrote this message about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And when King Pukusati, uh, you know, read the word Buddha, he was in a state of samadhi, kind of initial samadhi. Then he decided to become a monk himself to the Buddha and left the palace, leaving the kinship and everything else. I think, according to the available sources in the Dhamma literature, people cried, "Don't go! You are the best king ever. We have. So don't go." But the urge King Pukusati had to experience nirvana was so much, so that he walked all the way from Takkasila to where the Buddha was. Then Buddha knew about King Pukusati's renunciation, and it could only be done by such great people. And even the self-enlightened Buddhas give a prominent focus to them. So Buddha was also going forward to welcome him, to tell him the Dhamma, because in a way the Buddha knew that this person is not going to live for a long time. So that we all know Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta. This is recorded in Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta. It's a nice conversation there. Halfway through the conversation, Kim Pukkusati knew that this is the Buddha, this is my teacher, whom I became a monk, leaving everything behind. At the same time, by this time, he was an anagami, the third level of enlightenment, and he died immediately by a cow attack. So why do I tell this story? Uh, when you know about someone who has been having sila, samadhi, panya, vimutti, and vimutti jnana dasana, don't waste your time, associate them. Uh, if you do not find such people for your association, what you need to do then? You should become a person who has sila, samadhi, and panya, and vimutti jnana. It is the thing we can give this burning society. The society is burning with anger, hatred, ill will, various other unwholesomeness. So that our personal responsibility as compassionate living beings or the followers of the Supreme Buddha to be like that. We can give a lot of things, a lot of such um, things for the society. It's a blessing for the society. If you do not find Kalyana Mitra, be a Kalyana Mitra and give that opportunity for others to associate Kalyana. So that's what I want to tell at last. Today is the beginning of our Sutta study class for the new year. It's been now Ehipasiko Sutta study, which means the Sutta study is for come and see, which means you have the chance of exploring the Dhamma for your salvation and freedom and vimukti. I invite everyone to enjoy that within this 1 hour and 15 minutes period. So I would be able to come to Sutta studies next week and after next week, and I would after that I will go on a long trip. Uh, to Sri Lanka, India, for different purposes, including pilgrimage to India. So I don't have anyone to replace here because the other monks are capable of doing this, but they are busy with their own Dharma learning and practices and services. So that from last week of January to maybe second week of April, I may not be able to conduct this Sutta study class for you with you. So be mindful to read suttas, engage with sutta studies with your friends. Have a habit to take a sutta from the internet, and at least read couple of paragraphs just to arouse your energy for practicing Sila, Samadhi, and Panya in a practical sense. And do other activities, increase your Dhamma practices, because nobody knows what happened in the next moment, so that it is safer for us to engage in Dhamma activities in such a way. So once again, I plan to have 2 more sessions in the month, and they are coming with different suttas. So participate in those, and I really thank everyone here and who are not here for giving me so much support to conduct the Sutta study class. Your presence here, even without a word, helped me a lot, and everyone else here. And may this wholesome energy in you and every one of us uh, be with everyone here and your family members, and may they all be able to enjoy the Dharma in this year in your life, and may we all attain Nirvana by the power of these merits. Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu.